Attention gamers. Previously in Rav's Igloo, I documented the noble history of none other than River Shen and compared it to the thousands of kids who were taken off the tit milk too late in life and now they troll champ selects when they don't get their way, saying I was going to start a new wave called Grumpyheim and just wait to get banned. And while I didn't follow through with the meninges madness I had promised, I did make my own sequel where I ran this giggly numbnuts, roamed around the river and showed the 15 plate taking tech that resulted. And so the previously declared troll strategy where you half-ass the jungler role and just travel around playing the game completely wrong has now become something I lie awake at night thinking about. So the other day when I was playing this Magic Mike Mole Rat enjoying a little thug life jerk off while waiting for Rift Alexa to say I make slaying look sexy. While waiting for Rift Alexa to say I make slaying look sexy. I wanted more induced deaths, so I decided to take the trendy tilt ticking rat into the river, block support but declare myself a homeless Harry helping of homicide and roam the rift ruining people's days. Add collector to the mix so I can steal kills when I am not paying attention anymore, and it was a recipe for success. Hell, maybe even stack a few items and it might just become the second best match 3 game I've ever played. And I'm not talking about the game that Ivern works his nights recording voice lines for.
My favorite color is spring.
I'm saying take that game, then add champs to collect and level up, artifacts and gear to equip and upgrade, dragons to slay and collect, ultimate abilities to use, big bosses and guilds, you name it. Just from my last match you can see this gameplay goes Alice in Wonderland meets Narnia closets level deep. For starters, straight line swapping only is for losers as you can make diagonal swaps in this house, and second you notice that each of your champs has multiple moves so you can combo crushes together to send that big dank DPS at your foes. Certain colors counter others, so when it's discount Ezreal's turn I target purple nurple over there since yellow is the rock to that scissors. Then mana bars start filling up so it's ultimate time where some do damage and others like Jerusalem Banjo-Kazooie buff allies up, and I always keep Solid Head in my lineup too because hers heals the troops. I also caught myself a Charizard so I use him for a hot splash before bringing out the Mortal Kombat finisher. This spawned the boss and damn Vhagar let himself go, but what is important is after a few more swipes my whole squad has their ultis again, so I buff them up, bust them out and bam, victory royale. So check my link in the description and enter code RAV in chat after you complete the tutorial within 3 hours of installing the game like this to get all these dank rewards, and thank Terex boys over at Gemstone Legends for sponsoring this video. Alright, take one of the ratchet ass rat in the river strat and you see me starting up north because the last thing a top laner is going to expect at level 1 is Stuart Little from the streets and the guy who yells Sparta before kicking people into deep holes ready to bake his dead bitch ass into a brownie, so we get the walking car engine to burn his flash and then I Dutch oven his ass for that first blood cash. Then the plan was to hang out bot a bit to assure Mr. Pale Chippendale in the archer outfit that he's not alone in this world, but it turns out my jungler tried to stomp into supercuts for a walk-in when they were clear about it being appointments only, so he's casually paying the price for such insensitive behavior, which was my cue to grab my dart farter, bombard the barber and wait for Draco Malfoy to flash nab my kill like a true Slytherin. So me and Count Succula are just casually flinging shit at this statue when I spy with my little eye a midbound clown, and of course since Vlad is bad he be over there like I don't see shit man, to which I say oh you wait omega lol as I prepare to pop out and form this jack off gesture that I am the one who says he was hiding around here, and then gas his ass. Bobby Blood Puddle sticks around to get scissored by some anime chick, and I don't think it went as he expected, but it all worked out because Sissy Tits feels the need to say hi I'm greedy, to which the chef from Sparta says nice and I'm Greeky, and I say here's a bottle of my piss you bitch before feeding that T1 tower a well-deserved shutdown.
Nice.
But then it was finally time for me to head south because considering the average mental strength of League players is worse than a fetus of a flamingo with a terminal illness, I didn't want him quitting, so I snuck into my stealth suit ready to get my Caitlyn canoodling on, and things were going well until she tries to net me like some fish, but I'm not a fish, I'm a fucking rat, so I murder her. Meanwhile Gerard was over there playing a losing game of Guess Who, baking a brownie in his pants if you're smelling what I'm selling, but he won't be smelling much of anything anymore. But anyways, I was continuing the theme of letting Varys get his dick stuck in the vacuum all alone only to come in and be the hero, but with the small caveat that I let his ass die almost every time, which resulted in an epic support off me against the damn Costco of stuns, delivering them in bulk. And I would like to ask before anyone mentions the fight taking place in the midst of morning wand practice at the Red Robe Academy, just let me have my moment in complaining that this hoe is broken because there was enough other shit I had to deal with, like someone named Daddy Tug killing us all. But the way I see it is there can only be one piece of shit stealthing around in the Rift Daddy Tug, so your dickhead duet routine is cute, but I will kill as many fake O's as I need to get to the one real shake O, and besides I deploy skills he would never have, like a superior knack for shot calling, like ping pressuring my wounded warrior up there to go back and only to get distracted by a shiny object in the shrubs as she gets linebackered and bitch slapped right in front of me. And in the spirit of League being a magnet for the scum of the earth, attempt number 1 got cut short by a player that was KAF, so honor the orphan and get into a second. Okay, game 2, pardon the top-bound river rat deja vu, but the early games of surprise you a dead bitch are freer than a piece of cheese on a stick at Costco when every top laner is practically Juicy J, and early trades are like ratchet pussy they just can't say no to, so I pop out and say boo. Lee joins the crew, the crab says you too? Then we all slay and say woohoo. Now I just know my following actions of leaving our team's police officer all alone to get plugged in both her holes will be misinterpreted by some debate team captain creating a highly contentious political argument in the comment section of a video featuring sarcastic satire over a tilt-inducing game, but the only public opinion of mine I want this to convey was my distaste for Mr. Waternoose, because Boo did nothing wrong and shredding a door representing a dimensional portal into a motherfucking 2-year-old's room to remove contact with her best friend, all because of corporate greed, won't be tolerated on my Rift. Then I was on my way bot to finally hold my ADC's hand and let her know that I was there to support her and ask if she had any interest in putting the fuzzy cuffs on a fuzzy rat. That's a sex request, but I noticed the spin slut was planning to 200 years the shit out of Miss Titty Lasers, except said plan didn't quite work out. But alas, I reunite with Safari Samantha down here preparing to introduce myself with my trademark piss vial fling, only to get tied up in some weeds, but luckily Lee was here and their ADC had ninja syndrome, so those who rely on right clicks get the kicks, and then that curvy vine pimp fails to realize that I excel at getting very close to women without them noticing, so despite her spitting bottom bitch tulip having something to say, I marinate the veggie for a few seconds before cooking her. Then quick trip mid, because I have started a movement to condition cats into thinking that bad things will happen every time they poured into battle, hoping to eventually perform a champ select genocide against that broken abomination of spinning bullshit. Now a main component to the anti-support stealth strat is selfishness, so when the chia-petted polar patrol comes in to read your mid, her Miranda writes, you slip out like bad gas. That is until you can potentially benefit from the sitch, so you deliver said bad gas to the inflated mall cop and then have Rift Alexa announce your name as if you were there the whole time. And at this point the only thing your Caitlyn is sheriff of is Tiltover, so you predict like a damn Rift prophet what will happen by instructing your fed thanks to your present star slut to open a conversation with the boobies beam as you eat the scraps like the little sewer rat you are. This was then followed by their jungler getting outsmited by a literal blind man and me rubbing it in by yelling Voli has a mangina before he dies, and we make like exorcists and get the hell out of there. Then my next devious plan was to commandeer this spin to win shit stain of busted bullshit like I did with Lux earlier, but Darius players don't know how to follow directions, and trying to get them to listen to your calls is like trying to put your shoelace back in the hole without the plastic coating, so naturally he fucks it up right before it would have worked. And I guess me leaving flaccid dick in hand thinking about what could have been was his cue to finally engage, so I'm not gonna sit here and feel sorry about it, but I am going to inform this deformed centaur in his Bane mask that I was hiding and he is consequently dead. To which his response pretty much sums up my entire YouTube channel. But this crackhead now had collector, which means in the next fight when my team was burning ults and flashes to secure a kill, I was stealing it for myself from 6 screens away. Add another instance of the Paw Patrol getting death when he just wanted donuts, and you probably know where this was headed. I was fed and the team was winning after all. Psych, this is fucking League of Legends, so one bad thing happens and all 4 Wild Rift players you got stuck with form a quitter's quorum, leaving you pissed because you promised a full dot build with collector and every game your team gives up on you. But I am committed to delivering the content, so I present to you the grand finale featuring Heisman on brand for a double dot bot lane collector comp, both bringing bountiful burn, which starts off with a cute little I'll show you mine if you show me yours scenario between supports, and needless to say us seeing hers was the better end of that deal. But the theme of these shitters stunning each other continued, which allowed me to stack the dots up like pancakes to deliver a burn slow but firm and unyielding, like an old man backing his Lincoln Town car over a handicap sign. Now I know what you are thinking watching this brand, but I want to assure you that some people actually enjoy being tied up and fucked. Hashtag check Heis's browser history, but who am I to complain? I'm practically obese from getting so well fed. Add Reaper Randy to the equation and we were all cashing out some Lux bucks that night. But I don't want to speak too highly of Randy's Rift qualifications, because a minute later, after a fun game of hot potato that Legolas lost pretty hard, It resulted in a situation where a Lux with less than 200 health, welcomed a red buff Kayn into her humble anus abode, an easy kill. I thought I went back to hoodlum homicide only to be left forever perplexed at how she did not die. I know some comment will say she's shielded, but unless I missed the patch notes where a 1-point Lux W becomes a fucking Thor shield, I am just gonna deem that Kayn an inbred monkey. That said, we really weren't having any trouble stomping so hard you would think Chris Brown and Neo would be showing up any second, as I started to think this comp was actually broken as hell, but then I remembered that it's really just Brand being Brand, because half the time I was hiding while holding my little Wiggy in hand watching him do all the work. So let's take a quick fast forward through the massive chaos that ensued through the next couple of minutes as I accrued more wealth than someone holding GameStop shares in 2020, and eventually I reached the coveted multi-dot build with Collector, and by this point I was able to arrive late to team meetings and spray with absolutely no need to pray, collecting enough helpings of homicides to my hairy heart's content. And while the final result of serving these shitters with some fed AP ratatouille was quite satisfying, it's worth noting that Highs somehow managed to rock a longer ween on the damage chart. So for anyone curious to see how this entire game unfolded, including our real comms, the full game is featured on the Rav and Highs channel, where we run awesome off-meta bot lane comps every single day, so please sub or you will have people quit on you every game like they did to me in this video. Brush your teeth tonight. Rav out.
Don't fuck with Rabby boy, I'm in your crib with the blappy boy. Talk to me slick and I'm popping your pappy. If happy talk back, then I'm taking your Grammy, and boy oh boy I'll make her happy. Let's go.